thanks for joining us tonight. If you're here in North America or if you're up in the UK, thanks for joining us. And you know, I really think that it's so important that we find out how to build our business properly. And one of the most important things is really being able to tell your story properly. And it's not just going out there and sharing a bunch of information with people. It's about having it down in a way that it makes sense, that people will want to get engaged with what you're doing. They'll feel like they're being pulled into the story in a way that it really makes sense. So to start the call off tonight, my friend, our business partner down in Australia, Katie Larkin, is going to play a couple of videos from Eric Worre's training, and I think this would kind of give us an idea. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the whole process of story sharing, storytelling, and maybe some of the mistakes that people make. And then we'll hear a couple of stories tonight on the call. So Katie, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, great.
Well, there's a couple of videos from Eric Worre and Eric Worre's training, and really Eric Worre is a very successful entrepreneur, very successful in the network marketing industry, and he says that there's 4 important parts to every story, and I'm just gonna tell you the 4 parts of the story. First, being basically your background. Give your background, who you are, what you do. And then I guess, and I might say in different words than what Eric says, but the next part that I say is why do you want to get away from something or some place, and or where do you want to go to, and what's compelling to make you do that? And I really believe it's very important, this part of the story, because it's where you can draw in your audience, and you can get them to engage. And then the third part of the story really being, what's your solution? What's the solution to the problem that you've presented? And then the fourth part of the story is, what's your future? Where do you see your future? Where do you see yourself going? And so what I'd like to do is, we've got a couple people lined up to give their story. Let's run out to Utah, to Jessica Moffat. Jessica, if you want to unmute yourself, hit *6, unmute yourself, and just give us your story. Thank you.
Are you ready for me?
I am.
Okay. I'm a little nervous. I'm not originally from Utah, but we moved here when I was a teenager. And then when Mark and I got married, we were introduced to the Sisel opportunity, and that was back 12 years ago, or however long it's been open. I don't know exact years. About 12 years ago. And we went to a meeting, and we saw the opportunity, and we understood what they were trying to, tell us with all of the health things that were out there, and the products, and how just our normal everyday life food and things just don't cut it. And so we saw a vision for it, and understood like the vision behind their mission to bring health and wealth and happiness to everybody. And so we jumped in, and we were greatly affected by the products, and we saw some incredible results. And then some things in life happened, and we took a pause from it, and then we got back in just 2 years ago. And because we understand the importance of the health part of it also, and I wanted to be able to provide my family with things that would help us function every day with our bodies. And I also have a passion to help other people with their health and being able to just spread this great wealth of knowledge with the products that we have to help people live a better life, have a happier life, and more active life. I know that just for us personally, works construction also, and because of the products, he doesn't have any pain that he deals with that he used to 12 years ago before we started taking the products. And so just in that alone, being able to help people live a healthier life, a life that's going to allow them to do more. And then also for my family to be able to do whatever we want without the pain, to have our body balanced. I personally have been able to get rid of pain from my C-sections that were causing me to, I couldn't even do sit-ups without intense pain. And now I work with a trainer and I do intense working out. And so really, I mean, our focus and my focus especially is to be able to help people live a better life, and for us to live a better life also. And I think it's already proven itself in our life for the better, in better health, and being able to, when things come up and life just happens, being able to have an income that comes in, even though I had to take a break because just of life circumstances that comes up. And so that's another really powerful aspect of network marketing and being in that kind of a business, being able to, when those life experiences and life circumstances come up and you just have to step back for a little bit because you've got to focus somewhere else, that income still comes in while you're helping people.
Right. Well, and thanks for sharing with us, Jessica. And I really think that you've got a lot of things that are positive about what you're doing. One thing, and hopefully you don't mind that I give you a little constructive criticism on telling your story. I think from knowing you and knowing a little bit about you, some of the things that you really want to try and share and emphasize is that, like with your background, you're married, you've got young children, and you're trying to balance, a career. You and your husband are self-employed, and being self-employed, it really means it's giving you the right to have a job. You work for yourself, but like I found out, you tend to put more time into it than if you had a job, if you were working for somebody else. And the nice thing about being in Sisel, if you present that as the problem, you present it that, you're actually putting in more time than if you had a job, right? And you get people to agree with you on that, and you get them to say that, oh yeah, I had that happen with me too. I wasn't able to attend this function, or I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to go here because I was too busy working.
Right.
And I really think emphasize that part, because then you can ask people that you can say, Jessica, have you ever had that happen to you where you had to miss something because you were just too busy? And chances are most everybody's going to agree with you. And then what you do is then you present the solution. And the solution was, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I found something. It's a company by the name of Sisel, and then you can tell that part of your story. But I really don't think that you're going to have the effect of your story. I mean, you're jumping into part 3 before you've done part 2. You skipped over the part 2 part.
Gotcha.
You following me?
Yep.
And then now you present the solution, and then you say, and in the future, I'm going to be in a position where I'll never miss my kids' events. When my kids get older and they have their own kids, I'm never going to miss any of my grandkids' events, ever. And you see how that's going to make your story more engaging, more powerful, because now you can draw people in emotionally because they're going to connect with you. I mean, if you had told me that story and you'd said it that way, you would have had me agreeing with me. I would have been nodding my head with you from part 2 all the way through the end of your story, because that's exactly what happened to me.
Gotcha. Cool. That is awesome, because that's probably the thing I struggle with the most is my story.
You bet. So, well, thank you, Jessica. I really appreciate that. Let's run over to Michigan. And Jane, were you able to jump on and join us tonight? *6. Jane or Jim Dufty? Okay. Well, they might not have been able to get on. And that's the whole thing with this. You know, we're kind of in the volunteer army, and we never know. So let's go down to, is that Jim?
Yep, that's Jim and Jane.
Hey, Jim and Jane. I mean, would you mind sharing your story and kind of, I mean, let us know why you got involved with Sisel and kind of where you're going with it, you know, following kind of that whole idea of the 4 parts of the story?
I'll let Jane go first because she started it and I was just following along.
We've been married 32 years, and Jim, let's see, how do I want to start this? He was, I was looking because his health was going down. And so anyways, I seen Andrea's, stuff on Facebook, and I knew we had to do something different because Jim, every time he went to the doctors, he would come back with more medicine and he was getting worse. So that I was seriously looking. And so we've been in this 9 months now, and so we have seen results. Jim has completely turned around. He has got so many jobs right now. He would never have been able to keep up this process or his workload that he is doing right now if he was like he was 9 months ago. So he's got more energy, and we just want to help people get the results that we're getting. You got anything else there, Jim?
Yep, I'm 77 years old. Well, I'm not quite, but a couple days. 77 years old, born and raised on a farm. I'm an architect, and like Jane said, in 2016, basically I didn't have any energy, and she did most of the shoveling of the snow, and my health kept failing. And like she said, I went to the doctor, and there's of course more medicine, one for this, and then they have to balance it out with another one. So we got on the Sisel products, and basically my health has turned around. I had neuropathy in my legs, and were numb, and my feet were numb, and I started to walk like a drunk here a while ago. So that's all gone away. And I know about 20 years ago, I injured my shoulder, and I couldn't raise my hand above my head. And I noticed, it was about a month ago that I could raise my hand, and I helped my daughters do some build outs on their condos, so I didn't have to have 2 hands to operate the power drill. And my health is a lot better, more energy. Like Jane said, I'm an architect, and I got about 7 jobs going, most I've ever had in my life at once. I'm self-employed. I work out of the lower level, but I'm keeping up with all my jobs. And let's see what else. Anyway, I got a lot more energy because of these products we're taking, H pill and Triangle of Life and a couple other ones, but we're doing fine. And we're just talking about here a little while ago that on this auto ship, we're going to add 6 age pills, bottles of age pills, because we use about 4 a month. And we're going to, some of the people we know can't afford an age pill because of the price. So we're going to take 2 bottles and donate those to people we think that need them. Anything else, Jane? Probably missed a lot of stuff, but
And I'm a hairdresser for 42 years, and I had skin problems and thought I could do it with my health or my eating, but I didn't. I got some results, but I didn't get the results that I'm seeing with Sisel products. So it's changed my life too as far as my skin. So that's it, I guess. We just want to help people get the results we're getting and help them build a business.
yeah, she first started out looking for something to help her, and then once we got into it since November, one of our things is to help other people. Anything else, Kurt, we could help you with?
Okay, I think Kurt's actually just dropped out. He just messaged me and said his mobile reception's dropped out.
Okay.
So I guess I just wanted to share. So you both did awesome jobs sharing your stories. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was great. Thank you for jumping on today. I guess coming back to the 4 parts of sharing your story, it's suggested that you really highlight part 2, which is what you didn't like and what you want to change, which both of you did that. And I guess that is the most important part that people relate to. And that if people spend too much time talking about the solution and their future and stuff like that, people can get turned off. So really honing in on that bit. And you had mentioned, I heard talking about the skin and the changes, and you're getting results now. So that was awesome. That was that you, Terry, doing it, or Jane? Sorry, I'm getting the names mixed up.
Jane.
Yeah, sorry, Jane. Yeah, so I heard you talking about your skin and your changes and that. So that's really what you didn't like and what you'd like to change. So that's awesome. So just, I think I'm just losing the screen. I'm trying to do multiple things at once. So just bear with me. I didn't expect Kurt to drop out. So actually, Trev, I'm just going to go over to you.
Yep. Hi, Katie.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you. Really loved the common theme here is that everyone's getting to such great results with these Sisel products, aren't we? And we tend to like jump straight into the products, and and we love that, and I can understand why too. But anyway, I guess I'll get with and Kurt's probably, I hope he's not listening, but anyway. We've been playing around with this for a little bit, haven't we, Katie? And learning about Eric Worre. And I find myself, I try and get people to take a look at Sisel. And like everyone, because we get such wonderful results with these products, we try to jump straight into a solution, which is the 3rd part of sharing your story. And the solution is those fantastic products, as we know. But I guess that when we do that, people feel as though you're trying to sell to them, I suppose. But anyway, we've been playing around with this Eric Worre stuff, and I guess I'll go into, my background and, the first part, the second part, third and fourth. So I just sort of threw this together the other night, and we did a bit of a training on this, and it worked out quite nice, actually. And anyway, I'll just go into it. So I fell into the trade of Boilermaker welder with no good reason why. And a mate of mine said, Trev, come down here, you'll get a job, no worries. And I did. Now, I suppose you could call that word of mouth marketing, I suppose, but it makes me laugh when I think back about it now. My work, it's a really, really hot work, and, I get to wear bloody heavy overalls even on those really hot days. And, I really sweat a lot in my work, and you make the money, but you really earn it. So most of the old blokes in my trade, they look really old, and most of them really die young, and I actually stumbled upon Tom's former company, New Ways, many, many years ago, and he had an excellent product, and just so happened to be a network marketing company. And I could really see a future and a possibility and a chance to create leveraged income, which I thought was awesome. So it was network marketing, of course, and I slowly transformed because of network marketing. Really, it's really changed me as a person, and really self-development's been great. So for me, the future looks really bright.
Okay, Awesome.
Sorry.
Thanks, Trev. So I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm going to come back in a second. So I'm just going to run over to Sandy. If you're on the line, Sandy, if you can share your story.
Hi, Katie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. So how I start my story off, depending on if it's coal market or warm market, really, is I'd say, hi, my name's Sandy Biltoft. I've been in the hairdressing industry for over 30 years now. My husband and I actually bought a franchise hair and beauty business a little while ago now. And 1 week after being into that business, our son became very, very ill. And it wasn't until I really realised how sick he was that the business we were in wasn't the business I wanted to be in because of all the hairdressing, the chemicals and the toxins that were in the products. So after being in that business for 6 years, our son struggled for 3 years in and out of hospital the whole time we had that business, and had 17 brain surgeries. And he was still in a lot of pain, and no doctors could help us with him. In the end, they just said, sorry, there's nothing more we can do. So at that stage, my husband and I decided we did not want to be in this franchise business. So we got out of that business. And then in the meantime, we got shown a miracle from a hairdresser, which was Tom Mao's former company, and now Sisel International. So within 3 weeks of our son being on the products, we had amazing results from their quality nutritional products. So now I feel so much better knowing we can help other people and change their lives for the better. Thanks, Katie.
That's excellent. Thank you, Sandy. Great. So Trev, I'm just going to run back to you. So for those of you on the call today, really just want to demonstrate what happens when somebody shares their story, but they only share part 3 and 4, as opposed to also sharing part 1 and 2. So for those of you who are listening via the telephone, you probably won't be able to see the slide, or you obviously won't be able to see the slide. So part 1 is your background. Part 2 is what you didn't like and what you want to change. So that often can be a point of pain for people. And so when it's a point of pain for people, others can often relate to that part the most, actually. And if they can relate to that, that's when they connect and build rapport. So that actually is really the most important part. Part 3 is the solution, and part 4 is how you feel about the future. So if you share part 3 and 4, just jump into the solution in your future, it comes across quite differently. So Trev, if you want to just demonstrate to people listening on the call, if you were to just start talking to someone about part 3 being the solution and part 4 your future.
Alrighty. Okay, part 3. Okay, I stumbled upon an excellent product. It just so happens to be a network marketing company's product. It's a real chance to create leveraged income. It's really transforming network marketing, and it's totally changed me as a person. And self-development's great, and the future looks really bright.
Yeah, great. So I guess that, and you can hear it, I'm sure you can, Trev, yourself, hear that when you're sharing the part 3 and 4, it comes across as like a sales pitch.
Yeah, it does, and I've found that now that we're learning this kind of stuff about, talking about myself as who I am or who I was, and what I do for a living, I tend to, people can relate to that. Yeah. And I guess it brings them into a point, like Eric was saying in those videos, that you actually open them up a bit more, and they actually listen a little bit more when you start talking about, what you come across with Sisel, and then how it's really helped, and how it actually can be really beneficial from a business point of view, I suppose.
Absolutely. And so I also got out of that, Trev, that it'd probably be even more important just to share your background and what you didn't like, what you want to change, because that would lead into further conversation, and, eventually lead to Sisel. So, and that's where you build the rapport with someone. And I guess for me too, if I speak to someone, often I feel apprehensive to share my story or my background, to go into any detail about, my dad or anything like that, and what actually started my interest, because I don't know, I have felt a bit embarrassed about it, or just, I don't know, I guess shy about it. But it's that part that actually, that building that rapport and building connection with people by showing some vulnerability and opening up, that then brings you closer to someone. And so I found that really powerful too.
Yeah, great.
Did you
It's
want
great.
to add anything else?
Yeah, and it's like, you're building friendships with people, and I really love that about this business, and and to build a relationship and to become business partners when that progresses and gets to that point, it's something that's sort of there forever. So I really love that aspect of this business, Katie.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess, and you've found, Trev, because you've jumped on the call, a previous call of ours, and shared it now a second time. How many times would you suggest to people listening that they need to practice their story?
I guess, you just need to practice it and you tweak it as you go, and it will change things. It will change ever so slightly in different situations, I guess. So yeah, practice makes perfect, Katie.
Yeah. So great. Anyway, I think we've gone a bit over time there, and Kurt's, unfortunately, his reception dropped out. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your evening or morning and joining us on the call. I hope you found it valuable, and I hope that you have a great weekend, and we'll end the call there. And thanks for joining us.